The cosine rule, written and presented by me, Jean Legui. Here's the legal stuff. So, the cosine rule is another trick for finding lengths in triangles. That's any triangles. And there are three cosine rules, and as you can see, they look very similar. And what it says is really that if you have an angle and the lengths of the sides adjacent to that angle, you can find the angle that's opposite. So let's do an example. This is me again. I'm out fishing and I want to find the distance between Cape Vlaming and Parker Point. So what I do is I take bearings on everything and I have a distance finder, and I find that the distance between myself and Cape Vlaming is 5 kilometres, and the distance between myself and Parker Point is 7 kilometres. I also find the bearing to Cape Vlaming is 335 degrees and the bearing to Parker Point is 50 degrees. So the angle between them is 75 degrees. There's my triangle then. I've got two lengths and one angle. What I can do now is use the cosine rule. So there's my cosine rule. Now I want to find c, little c, distance between the 2 points, A and B, and so I use the bottom one of the three equations, which has got c squared on it. That one, that's the one I want to use, got c squared. So I'll make a bit of space, and then I'll substitute in some values. I know that B is 5, and I know that A is 7. And I know that the angle C is 75. So substituting in, I get c squared equals 7 kilometres squared plus 5 kilometres squared minus 2 times 7 kilometres times 5 kilometres times the cosine of 75. 7 squared is 49, 5 squared is 25, and 2 times 7 times 5 is 70. So I end up with c squared equals 49 kilometres squared plus 25 kilometres squared minus 70 kilometres squared times the cosine of 75. Now I'll find out what the cosine of 75 is, and that is 0.2588. So I'll multiply that by 70 kilometres squared, and I end up with 18.12 kilometres squared. 74 kilometres squared minus 18.12 kilometres squared is 55.88 kilometres squared. And now what I'm going to do is square root both sides. The square root of c squared is c, and the square root of 55.88 kilometres squared is 7.5 kilometres. So the distance c is 7.5 kilometres. So in summary, for any triangle, if you have one angle and the lengths of the adjacent sides, you can find the length of the opposite side.